You've posed the question in your title for this session about sort of political union. And I want to start by saying that I think that the overriding priority for the European Union at the moment is not to talk about structures and institutions and processes, but to focus upon outcomes. And I think that because not only do we face the immediate challenge of the financial crisis in the Eurozone, but also, as we know all too well, in London, beyond the Eurozone, where we're certainly battling to reduce a frightening level of deficit inherited from our left-wing predecessors. And beyond that lies this historic shift in the global economy towards the emerging powers of Latin America and Asia, not just Brazil, China, India, but a much wider range of countries from Indonesia to Turkey to Mexico. And if our citizens are going to have the standards of living and the social protection that we take for granted very easily, then Europe has got to become more competitive. And that means action at the national level, and it means action at European level too, in the way that the Taoiseach has just described, a focus upon strengthening the single market, upon trade, upon cutting the complexity and cost of both national and European level of the burdens we impose through regulation upon our businesses, about having tax regimes that are welcoming and friendly to business rather than drive them away from Europe to other regions of the world. And getting that right is what should absorb our energy and our attention. And too frequently in my 2 years in this present job, I worried that the default position, the comfort zone for the European Union, is too often talk of process rather than a focus upon outcome. And I would also say one further thing, which why I think that it's action on the economic priorities that's needed and not a focus upon further institutional reform, is that I think that throughout Europe we see a disaffection from conventional politics at both national and at European level. We see at national level the rise in many different countries of parties that are outside the mainstream, outside the what we think of as the conventional centre-left, centre-right debate. And we see at European level a sense, certainly in my country, but not only in my country, that European institutions are detached and from and unaccountable to the experiences of people who are at the receiving end of their policies. And I think that there is a real challenge for us in how we ensure that politics remains democratically accountable. It's an interesting issue, I think, for the Eurozone 17 in particular there, as they approach future sort of fiscal integration. But I think that for Europe as a whole, we should not push forward to further sort of institutional changes. We should focus upon those things that will make a difference to the prosperity and security of the people we represent.